Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Shimmery. Today I'll be doing my book haul. So before I get started, if you're new to this channel, please don't hesitate to subscribe down below as well as hit the notification bell. But I have done a book haul recently, but that was for my ALA like ARCs haul, and it was a lot. And I was actually trying to do another book haul video when I was doing that one because a lot of books had just piled up, and obviously I didn't want to do like a back-to-back book haul, so I kind of like held off on it, and it's been like a month now, so I feel like it's time for me to actually do the book haul that I had intended to do a month ago. But I have a ton of books to share with you guys. Please ignore all the noise in the background because the kittens are around and they were sleeping, and I was like, perfect time to film. And as soon as I start filming, they wake up, and now they're just like doing stuff. And anyways, point is though, I'm excited to share all the books I got within the past couple months. So the first few books I got are from my book of the month boxes. The first one is Upgrade by Blake Crouch. This is a sci-fi novel, and it's basically about this guy, I believe, who got this like upgrade. I'm not entirely sure like how he got this upgrade. Like something happened to his brain, and he's able to like feel sharper, better at concentrating, multitasking, etc. The thing is, apparently his genome has been hacked, and there's a reason why he's been targeted for this upgrade. And apparently this is like a small part of a bigger picture about like the world and a war, and he's the only person who can stop it. I'm very intrigued. I've really enjoyed his books in the past, so I definitely have high hopes for this one. Next book I got is Kaikeyi by Vaishnavi Patel. I am really hoping I pronounced those names correctly. All I know is that this is about the daughter of the kingdom of Kekaya, and her name is Kaikeyi, and she is raised on tales of the gods, how they churn the vast oceans to obtain the nectar of immortality, how they offer powerful boons to the worthy, etc. But the thing is, whenever she calls upon the gods for help, they never seem to hear. And desperate for independence, she turns to the text she once read from mother, and she discovers a magic that is hers alone. And so with it, she transforms herself into an overlooked princess, into a warrior, diplomat, and a most favored queen. I'm super intrigued by this book. I've heard really good things about this book when it first came out a couple months ago. Then this next book is Darling Girl by Liz Makowski. I want to say this is like a Peter Pan retelling. It says it's a reimagining of Peter Pan, and where one woman must take on the infamous Peter Pan, who is not the innocent adventurer the fairy tales make him out to be, to save her daughter's life. I'm very intrigued. I love my retellings, and I feel like Peter Pan, have there been other retellings? I'm sure there are, but like can't think of any at the top of my head. I don't remember if I read one before or when the last time I read one before is, so we'll see how this one goes. Next book I got was from my Owl Crate box, and that is Violet Made of Thorns by Gina Chen. This cover is so freaking pretty, and the inside is also really pretty with these, I don't know what these are called, but they're so pretty, and so are these pages. But yeah, anyways, point is though, this cover is stunning. So on the back, all it says is kings and curses, girls and gods, these are the makings of tales. I'm super intrigued, especially with the gorgeousness of this cover. Then the next book I got is from a publisher, and that is Daughters of the New Year by E.M. Tran. This book is out on October 11, 2022, and it says captivating debut novel about 5 generations of Vietnamese mothers and daughters drawing on Vietnamese zodiac astrology to chart the fateful events of their lives. This stood out to me because I feel like astrology is like such a fascinating topic, and I'm not super into it, but I feel like people who know me think I'm really into it, but I just think it's for fun. So I've never heard of like Vietnamese zodiac astrology before, so I'm super curious, and that's kind of what like drew me to this book. Next book I got is Silver in the Mist by Emily Victoria. This book will be out on November 1st, 2022, and it says 8 years ago everything changed for Devlin. Her country was attacked, her father was killed, and her mother became the Whisper of Eris, the head of the spies. So when Dev herself joins the spy ranks and receives dangerous news assignment of infiltrating the royal court of their neighboring country to steal the magic that they need, she learns that not all glitters is weak and not all stories are true. I'm super intrigued, but this cover is really cool as well. Then this next book I got is from my Goldsboro subscription, and that is The Final Strife by Sarah El Arifi. And I love how cool this book is because it's literally a box, and the book is inside here whenever it comes out, and this is what the naked hardcover looks like. I mean, just look how stunning this book is. And also the inside is this, which is really pretty as well. So I'm really excited for this book. I have no idea what this book is about, but I feel like Goldsboro tends to have some really fantastic fantasy choices for the most part, so I have very high expectations for this book. The next book I got is from a publisher, and that is Salt and Sugar by Rebecca Carvalho. This book is out on November 1st, 2022, and it seems to be a young adult contemporary romance following two teenagers whose family owns like rival bakeries, and Larry, whose family owns the bakery Salt, has to join forces with Pedro Molina, who owns the Sugar Bakery, to save both of their bakeries from the big new supermarket that just moved into town. I'm super intrigued. It sounds super freaking cute. I feel like I'll read this book and want to bake all the goods, even though I am definitely not a baker, but I love the idea of it. Next book I got is also from a publisher, and that is Bend Toward the Sun by Jen Devon. This book is out on, or sometime in August 2022. This seems to be a adult romance, and it follows two characters. One is Rowan McKinnon, who believes she has everything she needs, but apparently she also has a emotionally negligent mother and an ex-fiance. And it follows Harrison Brady, who loves being a doctor, but after losing a patient in a 4-year relationship, he escapes to his parents' vineyard to heal his broken heart. And of course, they meet each other, and now they fall in love. So it sounds like a really, it's supposed to be like a love story that you won't ever forget. So we'll see how that goes. Then this next book I got is from my Owl Crate box, and that is This Vicious Grace by Emily Feed. It says her gift can save or it can kill. It also says 3 weddings, 3 funerals, 1 more chance to save them all. I have really high hopes for this. Plus this cover, this edition is so freaking pretty. Look at this. Just look how beautiful this is. Honestly, I'm such a sucker for like really pretty covers, and that's kind of why I still have these subscriptions, because I feel like sometimes I feel like the books are not completely up my alley, but like I have hope. You know, I have hope that they are, and we'll see how this goes. But this cover is just so pretty. It's so yellow, but like it's a nice yellow, you know what I mean? Then this next book I got is Our Crooked Hearts by Melissa Albert. I believe I got this one from a book trade, and this one is supposed to be a YA like thriller. I think it also has to do with like witchcraft, and it also says something about like dark forces they never should have messed with. So I'm super curious, especially with like Halloween just around the corner. I think this would be perfect for that. Next book I got is also from my Goldsboro subscription, and that is Ordinary Monsters by J.N. Miro. I have no idea what this book is about, but this cover is so cool. It's like feathers, and since I have gotten this book, I've seen so many people like hyping this book up in like the SFF community, so I have pretty high hopes with this book. And it seems to be like a historical fantasy because it's set in 1882, so we'll see how this goes, but I am very intrigued. Then this next book I got is The Dark King by Gina L. Maxwell. This is out on September 27, 2022, and it says that's to be a first book in the new Deviant King series, and it's a dark erotic romance with a fantasy twist. I feel like fantasy romances have been like really popular recently, and I've been kind of like diving into that like tentatively as well. So when I saw this book, I was very intrigued to see if, you know, I would love it. Next book I got is from a publisher, and that is Twice as Perfect by Louisa Oname. I'm hoping I pronounced her name correctly. I have no idea what this book is about because this came unsolicited, but it says she thinks the only things worth doing are those that will lead to success. So we'll see. It says it captures the ups and downs that come with belonging in 2 worlds. I don't know, but I guess we'll see how this goes. Next one I got is from a book trade, and that is Dating Dr. Dill by Nisha Sharma. All I know is that this is an adult romance, and I just feel like romances with me have been like my go-to. Like I love romances, I love thrillers. I've been reading a lot to those, or especially listening to those on audiobook a lot, so I was very intrigued by this one. Then I got this from a publisher, and that is The Kingdoms of Savannah by George Dawes Green. This book just came out in July 2022. This is a like mystery book. I wouldn't say it's like thriller or suspense, it's more like a mystery, but it's supposed to depict the underbelly of a city with a dark history and the strangely mesmerizing dysfunction of a complex family. But it all circles around a murdered man and his companions who will disappear. So I'm really intrigued by this book for sure. Then I got this book from a publisher, and that is Out of the Blue by Jason June. This book was sent to me as part of the Pride box. They were doing a promotion on some Pride books. I have a few books from them actually, and this was one of them. So all I know, this is LGBTQ+, and I'm really intrigued by this. I also got Only on the Weekends by Dean Atta from the same box as well, and this is also LGBTQ+. I want to say that both of these books are like YA romances. Then I got the next book from a book trade, and that's A Magic Steeped in Poison by Judy I. Lin. This one I'm super intrigued by. This cover looks so pretty. From what I remember, it's about this girl who unknowingly poisoned her mother with tea, and now the same tea threatens to take her sister. So one day she hears a competition to find the kingdom's greatest masters of the ancient and magical art of tea making. She travels to the imperial city to compete, and the winner will receive a favor which may be her only chance to save her sister's life. It sounds so fascinating. Then I got this next book also from a book trade, and that is Braverly by Maggie Stiffwater. I am so intrigued by this book. I really like her books in the past, so I have very high hopes for this one. Plus apparently this is like a Braverly like companion book where it follows like the aftermath of her story, like the Disney movie. So I'm super curious to see how she took the Disney movie and kind of like readapted it and made it like a future book or like a companion sequel type of book. Then this next book I got is also from a book trade, and that is 1,000 Steps into Night by Tracy Chee. There's a book that I read from her that I absolutely adored. It is called We Are Not Free, and I just fell in love with her writing, the storytelling, just like her depiction of the characters. I have really high hopes for this one after I saw that she had another book coming out. I have no idea what this book is about, but I feel like if it's anything along the same like writing style and characters and like plot and everything, I feel like I'll really enjoy this book. Then I got another book from a book trade, and that is Cinder and Glass by Melissa De La Cruz. This one is basically a Cinderella retelling or reimagining, and it follows a girl called Cendrillon de la Rue, who was poised to be the most eligible maiden in all of France, but then her father's death, who was the king's favorite advisor, had left her at the will of her cruel stepmother and stepsisters, and now she's forced to become a servant to her new family. But when she attends the royal ball, she catches the eye of the handsome prince as well as his younger brother. So even though she has an immediate aversion to Louis and a connection to his brother, the only way to escape her stepmother is to compete with the other girls at court for the prince's hand. So this is definitely very much a retelling or reimagining of Cinderella, and I'm really intrigued by this. Next book I got is also from a book trade, and that is For the Throne by Hannah Witten. This is the second book to For the Wolf, and honestly I should probably read the first book, but I don't know, I've just heard so many good things about the first book that I kind of want to just pick the second book up and just see if I would just love the series overall. And plus it's a book trade, so it's not like I really like spend money on it, you know what I mean? So I like, that's how I justify sometimes for some of these books even though I'm technically on like a book buying ban. Next book I got is also from a book trade, and that is Guild by Raven Kennedy. I've heard so much about this book recently on Book Talk, on BookTube, etc., that I have very high hopes for this one. This is also a like young adult fantasy. I don't know if it's like fantasy romance, and oh my god, you need to stop. Okay, they're like playing with the lights now. Anyways, so this says gold floors, gold walls, gold furniture, and King Midas's castle built on the top of the frozen mountains. Everything is made of gold, even me. So this is supposed to be a reimagining of King Midas, and it shows the dark side of greed through the eyes of the woman he touched. I'm so intrigued. I love retellings. Next book I got, I think it's also from a book trade, I'm not really sure, it's been a couple months. That is In a Garden Burning Gold by Rory Power. This is supposed to be the first book in a mythic epic fantasy duology, and it's supposed to be about twins imbued with incredible magic and near immortality who would do anything to keep their family safe. This cover is stunning. The story sounds great. I didn't really love her other book, Wilder Girls, but I still have faith for this book. Next book I got is also from a book trade, and that is Obsidian Tower by Melissa Caruso. This book has just been on my Amazon wish list for like a very long time. I don't remember what this book is about because it's been there since like a year now. It says, guard the tower, ward the stone, find your answers writ in bone, keep your trust through wits or war, nothing must unseal the door. It's supposed to be about a black tower that's sealed by ancient magic because it guards a dangerous secret that's been contained for thousands of years. And now it follows a girl, her name is Rixander, who's a warden, but one impetuous decision will leave her with blood on her hands and unleash a threat that could doom the world to fall to darkness. I'm very intrigued by this book. Then this next book I picked up is The Box in the Woods by Maureen Johnson. I've really enjoyed Truly Devious series, so I think this is like a spin-off or it's a continuation, but I think it's like It's part of the series, but it's not specifically with the original trilogy. It's kind of like another adventure of Stevie Bell. So this book basically follows Stevie Bell after the Truly Devious case, and now that she's back in her hometown, and she ends up getting reached out by like a cold murder case that happened many years ago, and she agrees to go and investigate with the help of her friends from her school. I really enjoyed Truly Devious, so I definitely cannot wait to read this soon. Next book I got is from my Fairy Loot subscription, and that is The Darkening by Sonia Mara. I have no idea what this book's about, but it says a fierce revolutionary, a desperate prince. Together they will face a storm or be swept away. This cover is stunning. It's a fantasy, young adult fantasy book. I have very high hopes for this one. Alright, then the next two books are also from the same Pride box that I mentioned earlier, and that is Milo and Marcus at the End of the World by Kevin Christopher Snice, as well as A Little Bit Country by Brian D. Kennedy. These are both books that I got. I got 4 books from that box, and these are all like YA contemporary romances. Then the next book I got is The Book of Azrael by Amber Nicole. I believe this book was a book trade as well. I mean, honestly, the past few months I've been doing so many book trades, and I feel like I'm just getting confused now, but I think this is a book trade. It says, for 1,000 years after the Gods' War, the Otherworld has known peace, but soon that too will change. An old enemy driven by revenge slowly builds an army behind the scenes. Temples are being ransacked in search of an item long lost, and enemies since the dawn of time must put aside their differences if they have any hope for survival. I don't know, but I feel like this could be really freaking good, so I'm very excited for this one. Next book I got is from a publisher, and that is Lavender House by Lev A.C. Rosen, I believe that's how you pronounce the name, and this book is out in October 2022. It says, when your existence is a crime, everything you do is criminal. I don't really know what this book is about because this did come unsolicited, but we'll see how this goes. Then this next book I got is actually a nonfiction, and that is How to Money, Your Ultimate Visual Guide to the Basics of Finance. This book just sounds like so much freaking fun because I feel like now that I'm getting older, finance has already been important, but like now that I'm getting older, it's becoming more and more pertinent for me to like dig into my finances and invest and all that stuff. So I thought this would be a really fun book to pick up and kind of just see. So I'm really excited to get a copy of this book. Next book I got is from my Fairy Loot box, and that is A Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah. This book is so pretty. I mean, look at this beautiful cover, and the inside too has all of this. And this book is supposed to be inspired by stories from 1001 Nights. It follows the gripping tale of a legendary smuggler, a cowardly prince, and a dangerous quest across the desert to save a magical lamp. Definitely a like Aladdin-esque type of book, and I'm so here for that. Next book I got is from a book trade, and that is Forging Silver into Stars by Bridget Kemmerer. This is obviously a spin-off series to The Curse of Dark and Lonely, and I am so excited for this. This time it follows Jax and Callan, and I really enjoyed those like side characters in the first series, so I'm really excited to see like how the author has progressed their stories and just made this whole spin-off series. Definitely cannot wait to read more of these two characters. Then this next book is one that I actually pre-ordered, and that is Flip the Script by Lila Lee. So this book is like freaking cute. It's a YA romance, and it is, I believe, like a LGBTQ plus romance featuring 2 girls and a K-pop idol. The premise sounds freaking adorable, especially because I've been watching all the K-dramas these days, so I'm really excited for this one. Next book I got is from my Owl Crate box, and that is Ballad and Dagger by Daniel Jose Oder. This is a book that I feel like is definitely a little bit more out of my comfort zone, I want to say, because I haven't heard too much about this book, and I know that when they announced this book, a lot of people opted to skip out of this box. So I was curious either way, so I decided to pick it up anyways and see how it goes. It's supposed to be about 16 years ago, Mateo Matisse's island, homeland, disappeared into the sea, and it kind of follows the survivors of this homeland, this island, and how they escaped to New York. I believe there's also like magic in here or something like that. It's like a power, so I'm really intrigued by this book. Then the next book that I got is from my Goldsboro subscription, and that is Collar Bound by Rebecca Zahavi. I'm hoping I pronounced that name correctly. It says, bound by magic, marked by war, ready to fight. This cover is so pretty. I really like these ombre edges, and that's all I really know about this book. Honestly, for Goldsboro, I feel like I don't really know too much, but usually they're pretty good books, so I'm excited. Next book I got is from the publishers, and that is The Drowned Woods by Emily Lloyd Jones. This book is out in sometime this month, August 2022. I have no idea what this book is about since this did come unsolicited, but it says over here it's supposed to be a standalone fantasy set in the world of the Bone Houses. So that's interesting. I did not think that there'd be another like companion type of book set in that world, but I'm very intrigued now. The next book I got is also from a publishers, and that is The Luminaries by Susan Dennard. This book is out in November 2022, and it says, hunt or be hunted, choose wisely. The Luminaries apparently is a society of ancient guardians stand between humanity and the nightmares of the forest that rides each night. It follows a girl called Winnie Wenson who is in exile from said society, and she's determined to restore her family's good name by taking the deadly hunter trials on her 16th birthday. But when she turns to her ex-best friend for help, they discover a danger lurking in the forest no one in Hemlock Falls is prepared for. I'm super intrigued by this book. It sounds amazing. It also sounds like a really good like creepy Halloween vibes for sure. Next book I got is The Picture Bride by Lee Gwem Yi. This book is out in October 2022. I also have no idea what the book is about because this came unsolicited, but it says over here, it's a fascinating journey into the world of Koreans' picture brides whose lives take unexpected turns as they land on distant shores. It follows a girl, her name is Willow, who is a picture bride in 1918, where she is now sent to America. So we'll see how this goes. I feel like I've never really heard of picture brides before, so this would definitely be like a fascinating like historical fiction for me. The last and final book I got in the past couple of months is a pre-order, and that is Once Upon a K-Prom by Kat Cho. This book looks so freaking cute. All I know is about this girl who's like best friends from childhood is now a K-pop star, and like when they were kids they made a pact to like take each other to prom one day, but now that he's a K-pop star she never really thought that he would remember his promise, but he did because he showed up his door and asked her out to prom, and this is kind of the story. I'm so excited for this book. It sounds so freaking cute. Definitely cannot wait to read this soon. So these are all the books I've gotten the past couple months. I've gotten so many, and now it's time for me to kind of like reorganize my shelves and kind of fit them somewhere because there's too many books. But it's nice to finally have my coffee table empty because that's usually where I stack up all the books that I get, and they've just been accumulating and it's been a lot. Like they've been taking up so much fucking space, but I'm excited to dive into these books as soon as possible, and hopefully I'll find an amazing read. Let me know down below if you have read any of these books before. Which book are you excited that you have not picked up yet that are coming out soon? As always, if you like this video, please do give me a thumbs up if it does help my channel, and if you'd like to see more content of me, please don't forget to subscribe down below as well as hit the notification bell. And as always, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.